Okay, so last class we learned about how we can do login, logout, register, and user page, like, and how can we prevent the user without login they cannot see the or they cannot visit the user page, right? So we did it last class. So we'll go to the user page. Okay, so here, like in use effect, we did this. Okay, cool. If we were checking if token is not there, we were pushing to login page. Okay, cool. So now we will go to this page. Here we can check there is a create, update, and delete. There are few things, right? And even they have the single user, a list user, single user, user not found, list, resource. These all things are there. See, okay. So first of all, we'll check that single user. List user we get, right? List user we have, like we were showing all the user over here, right? But suppose someone click on this user. So if someone click on this user, what will happen? This is the user details should open in a different page, right? Different page if it would open. So how we will do that? So we will create one component called user detail. Okay, new component called user detail dot js. Okay, cool. Here we will do import react from react. Okay, const user detail, user detail. Okay, there we will do return. Here we will do something called simply one div. We will give first hello, this is user detail. Okay, here we will do export default user detail. Cool. Now what we will do, we will create one route. Okay, for the user detail, like it should also open on some route, some path. So we will go to the app.js. 1 minute. Yeah, app.js will go. Here we will do, we'll give one more path, route path is equal to slash user slash id. Like id will be variable. So see, every time if you click on this user, see, so how we were getting the single user? We need that user id, like either 1 2 3, whatever the user id we has, we need that id. Okay, so for getting the id, so we also need to know like which user, this detail is for which user. So we will specific the give the id, but id will be every time like 2 3 4 5. So we cannot give like some 2 or 1. If you give 1, it will take always 1. So it should be dynamic. If you are clicking on 1, it should be for the one user id 1. If you're clicking on 10, so it should be for user id 10. So how we will make it dynamic in routing? We'll give this and we'll give id, so it will become that kind of variable. So if anytime you change any value, if you change, it will take this. Okay, element is equal to, here we will give user detail. Okay, just close this. Good. So we'll check either it's working or not first of all. So first of all, give here /1. Okay, so it's coming hello, this is user detail. Cool. So we'll go to the user detail. So we'll give the header. So it will look like the user page. Okay, so now cool. Now we can give like one class, div class name, container. Okay, cool. If we want to give some margin padding or any spacing, you can give. Cool. So we have this. Now what I want to call this API to get the details. Suppose you want to get detail of this user ID too, you have to pass API user ID too. So how we will get this? Okay, cool. So first of all, what we have to do, while clicking on this page, this list, while clicking on this list, see, while clicking on this list, it should go to the user detail page. So how we will do that? So we have list page, right? See, we have list page. So on clicking on this page, right? On clicking on this page, it should go to the user detail page. So first of all, we'll create like on change or on click function, right? Sorry, on click function we will do. So here we will, what we will do, we will change the routing, right? We will change the route. So we will use useNavigate, right? So either you can copy from here, I think here also it's there, useNavigate, or else first try to do by yourself. We'll create one history, const history is equal to useNavigate. So it will automatically get imported from React router DOM. Cool. useNavigate. Now, okay, not in here, sorry. Basically, I have to do in list page, right? Here we can create this const history is equal to useNavigate. Okay, cool. Now we can check. So before going to write, right? Okay. So first of all, we'll create one const handle on click or handle route. Something you can give, handle user detail route, any kind of name you can give. Cool. So basically what we have to do, once we click on this, okay, once we click on this, it should go to the user detail page. So how we used to do, history dot like slash user and slash whatever the ID you want, like if this user ID is 10 or something 4, so you can get it. So here you can give like, so here we either we can use, yeah, plus data dot, see this data is we were passing from that user list. All the user detail was coming in this list, so we were getting the ID also. So data dot ID. Okay, or now if you click anywhere on page, or you can go to that user detail. Cool. So we will call this function, sorry, handle. Okay, cool. So we'll check if you click anywhere, it's going to them, right? If you click anywhere, okay, if you click anywhere on any user, like if you click here, right, so it will go to that. Now we will have to show the specific user detail, like user number 5 we have to get the detail. Okay, cool. So now we have to take this ID. How we will get the ID? Okay, So if you check over here, so there are few things, like first of all, how we were passing data, you can check over here. So previously we search for, right? See, this is not the relevant, yeah. So first of all, there are two way. Either we can pass data, oh God, inside the history itself. See, like how you're doing, like he is doing the navigate. This is the URL, and along with that, they were passing. See, they were passing that value. Either it will be ID or name. You can pass it. And in this component, how they were getting use location. They were using use location and a state dot whatever the name they were passing. Say name or ID, you can get it. There is one way to pass data in history only, navigate only, or here they have given it navigate, we can give history, anything, like whatever the things you have to pass. There is one thing, one is URL and second is a state you can pass, and you can get that state using use location. There is one way. Second way is get param, right? So there is a way of use param, right? We'll use that. See, here you can say location is equal to use location, and you can also get that. Okay, there is one way. And you can use param, right? Use param. So we'll try with that first, use param, and we'll try to get this ID. Okay, cool. So first of all, we'll go here inside the use detail, and here like const param is equal to use param. Okay, cool. So we'll console this first. What are the things are coming inside console dot log params. So make it params. Okay, save it. Line number line. We'll go and we'll uncomment, sorry, comment that user things, right? Here you can say we are printing multiple things, like here you can check restore data. Okay, list if you go, we were printing that. Okay, just remove this and refresh your page. Okay, okay, so we will also check this issue. Every time it's coming that unique key. Okay, we'll check after that. So once you click over here, you can check you are getting as ID. See, you have printed a use param, right? If you go inside that user detail, so what you are using, use param. So what basically use param text. So if you are using any params here, like any params, like user inside any param ID or any name, anything, any kind of parameter you are using, that you will get it here. So here you can check param, what are the things you have given, ID, right? If you go to the app.js, inside that you have given ID. This parameter is id, so it's giving it, so directly we can get the data. So if you need that, id is equal to, or you can say const user id is equal to params dot id. Okay, cool. Or else you can directly do the destructuring concept, but once we learn, then we will use that. So we have the user id. Now what we have to do, now we have to call the API for getting the detail. See, we have the user id. For getting the detail, we have to call the API. So how we used to call API? So basically, we will create one const handle, or you can say get user detail. Okay, get user detail. Here, what you need, Axios. We imported Axios dot get. URL is basically this. If you go to the user here, This is the list of user. What we need? We need plus, you can give slash and plus id, user id. See, okay. So basically it will become like this user plus I slash 2 3 4 5, whatever thing you will select, it will come here. Okay, cool. Now dot then, cool, arrays console dot log rest dot data dot catch error console dot log error. Okay, and we have to see, we have created one function, but we have to call this function. Either we can click on click, or else we will click on use effect, mean lifecycle method. Why? Because we just created this function, we just initialize this function, we have to call this function too. So when we want, when the page is loading, right, when we are switching to this, at the time of loading the page, we want this. So we will go through the use effect. Here we will do use effect. Use effect comes from the React, it's imported over here. Take two things, one is function and second is dependencies array. Okay, so we will call this function here. Okay, and we'll try to check either it's working or not. Okay, something is coming, right? Data and support. Inside data and data, there are few things, name, image, and all things. Okay, so what we will do, we will store. So again, this data is coming inside this block, user block. What we need to show here, somewhere here. So how we will do that? We need to store somewhere in a state. So how we can create the state? Let's create the state. Either you can create here also user detail slash, you can give any function, user detail is equal to use state. Okay, here you can give any detail, or initially you can give empty object, because the data is coming in a object. So previously in user, you can say, here we have given array, because there we are using multiple things, like we were storing in array, right? Multiple user list was there. So and here we are getting one, so this is an object, empty object you can give. Okay, so now we will rest dot data is equal to set user list, set user detail. You guys know, like, right, how we can set, change the value of a state, or how we can set rest dot data, because you can see inside the rest of data there was data and support, so we need data, not support. Okay, cool. So now we can check, we can console it over here, console dot log user detail. Okay, so in user detail, if you check here, what other things are coming. So line number 39, we are getting the detail like id, avatar, image, first name, last name. Cool. So now we have the list, so we can create over here div class name. Either you can use effect or anything, sorry, like row, column, or anything styling you can use. So I'm going to use card w50. I'm giving, means width will be 50% of total. Okay, this will not responsive, so better you can do it by row column. So I'm just doing by this card body. Here we will give some first of all, like here we will give h3 user detail. Okay, details. Now we'll show the image first. Image src is equal to dot avatar, right? Check the spelling, and mostly what you have to do, just copy paste, so will not get a spelling mistake. Close it. Then div name, right? So user detail dot first name something, just copy it. First name plus user detail dot last name. Cool. Okay, just save it and check either it's how it's looking like. Okay, cool. User detail is coming. We can keep it in center also. We'll try here, like here we can also give. Okay, the styling thing you guys can do, right? See, now what we will do, we'll give either we can give mx auto here, mx auto, so it will come in center. See, and we can also keep text center, either it will work or not sure. So basically the design section you have to cover it. So user detail, this is the image, this is the name of this user, name is this. Okay, email is equal to, you have to take any variable, keep inside the curly bracket within the return. Okay, dot something email, right? Better inspect it and check. You can open anything. Okay, man. Uh, email only. Cool. It's okay. User email, or you can say email. Okay, we have the email, and here we can give id, div class name, or normal you can give id is equal to user detail dot id. So we can see, yeah, id is one, name is this, and email is this. Cool. So if you go to the user again, if you click on like this one, right? See, so it will, the user detail will come for this user. Okay, again if you want to go back and can do for this. So first of all, see, while hovering over the any list, you are not getting this list is clickable or not, this list is clickable or not. So we'll do two things. We have the list something, right? If you go here, we have the list, right? Okay, so we will go to the app.css. Yeah, we have the list. So what we will do, on hover dot list, you can check any hover things. Yeah, hovers are there. Okay, cool. Cursor, sorry, cursor, pointer, background color will change. Let's see, working or not. I don't think it's working. Background color not working. So we'll check what happened, or is not clickable. Inspect it and we'll check. See, this is the list, right? Okay. So basically what I want to give here is on hover. Okay. See, we are giving the background color, but it's not taking. If we give imported, right? See, like important, then it will work. Okay. If you give important, it will work. So we'll do that only here. So what is happening? We'll let you know. Okay, cool. Okay. So now if you go on any page, right? See. So now if we can easily get, okay, you are on this list, right? If you click on this, you will get the user detail of this user. If you click on this, you will get the user detail of this user. If you want, they can use any, sorry, any background color also. BG like warning. I'm not sure it how it's look like. Okay, let it be. Good. So come back here. While clicking on this, you are getting this user detail. See, okay. Check. For different user, it's coming the different details and different image. What how we got this? So basically, we'll check one more time. Basically, this is our user page. So here we are getting all the user. Here you can getting all the user in API, and we are storing in one state called user list. And what we were doing on user list, we are using the map, and every time we are passing data, whatever the data inside that for one user, we are passing that data to the list, and we have created the list as a reusable component. If you come over here, reusable component, it's taking a data as a props, and inside that there are id, avatar, last name, first name, email. So this with the help of these all things, we are creating that user detail page, and on click we are using this. On click we were doing this. Okay. So on click, what we were doing, we were going to the user detail page. For going our user detail page, what we did here, we have created one user detail page and we created the route. For in the route there is a one variable id will be every time variable. So how you can see, if you have to give a variable in path, how we will do, colon id, whatever the name of your variable, this will come. So now we'll come to the user detail. So once you click on a user slash id, it will come to the user detail page as per here, right? Your user slash some id, it will come to the user detail. Okay, now we can see here we were calling the API. So first of all, we need to get the id, whatever the id you are passing in url, whatever the id you are passing in url. See, we need that id, it is in url. So what we did, there is a hooks called useParam. With the help of useParam, we can get the all the params. So here id as a params, right? So we'll get the id is equal to user id is equal to params dot id. So we have first we will create the const param, useParam, and params dot id. Inside that we console it and check data was there. Now we will use this to call the API. So basically we have to call while loading the page. That's why we use useEffect only, because we didn't have to click on somewhere, then the function will call. Basically while loading it will call, while the mounting phase it will call the our API function. So this is the function to get the API detail and user detail. So what are the things required? Like this is the API URL plus user ID we need, right? So from where we get this? So you can check over here, API slash user ID. Okay. So we gave this. It is coming from the params. Now whatever the data is coming, right? We were setting into that user detail page, and from there we were showing all the detail. Okay, as of now we did this. This is a really cool concept. So basically we are going to achieve the CRUD application. So if some of the user will click on any of these user, it will go to the user detail page. Tomorrow we will do create case, delete case, and edit case. These three things need to pending, then we will achieve this, right? Okay, cool. So what will happen if we give, sorry, /78? See, details are not there, right? Data not found. Okay, network 4 not 4 means you can check over here, review, it's coming 4 not 1. If whatever the things you are searching, right, it's not present, the status code 4 not 4 means that thing is not present. Okay, the user id 74 is not present. Okay, so we'll go to the console and check. See, in user data line number 26, what's printing? Message request failed with the status 4 not 4. Okay, means user is not present. Whatever the user you are searching is not present. So either you can do here, like, right, once here you can show, right, alert user not present. This is not a correct way, but as of now at least you will get. So once someone will press this, user not present, correct, it will come. Okay, cool. This is the alert message will come, it will show like user is not present. Okay, as of now we have this. We'll go to the user, we'll click on some user, we'll get the detail. Okay, if again you want to come back, you can click on this. See, okay, now we will add here like edit icon, delete icon, and here somewhere on top we'll give plus create user or add new user, and we have the API right here. See, like for create user, what are the things we need? We need to pass some name and job. Okay, for update, okay, so for update, first of all we need like for which user do we want to update, so you have to pass the ID. So again it will come user slash variable ID, and the method will be put. Okay, you can do that. This is also a patch, put and patch, both we use to update the value, and then delete. See, if you click and again you want to delete, so which user you want to delete, so again you have to pass the ID. So this whole thing we will take it tomorrow. Any doubt till here, like how we created a dynamic path, like for every user, just go through. Okay, I'll share you the code, and from tomorrow onwards we will try to pushing into the GitHub. Okay, cool. Any doubt you can ask.